Yo, welcome to Simple B. It's your boy P. You know what it is. Hit the subscribe button. Today, we got a special guest, champion this season. I just watched his highlights and stuff. This guy is a phenomenal. To me, he's looking like one of the top point guards here in Europe. Looking at all leagues combined together. That's for me at least. So, Stephen Bell, yo, welcome to Simple Basketball. Yeah, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm good, man. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, so this is so exactly like I mentioned, we always want to get a American player's perspective of for playing overseas and your basketball career in general. But of course, I would like to start off with a regular question I'd always ask all my guests: when did you start playing basketball, and when did you realize, or at least made the decision that this is gonna be my passion? This is the sport, the dream I'm chasing for. If you
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. I started playing basketball when I was around 6 or 7 years old. Um, I was always, small and fast, and a good hand and foot coordination. So I mean, from an early age, I just was good dribbling the ball and going up the floor making layups. So I mean, the game became fun to me. I didn't probably take it serious until I was around 11 or 12.
Yes.
Usually around that age is when I started to get more into travel basketball, get more exposed to bigger, stronger players, and
Yes.
it was kind of at that point where I started to, ask myself if this is something that I really wanted to do. If I wanted to do it, I would have to work a lot harder because, you're
Of
playing
course.
against guys that were at 12, 13 years old already, full grown bodies. So, I mean, had to adjust to the different,
Yeah.
levels of the games and really, I took a year off, just took a summer off and just worked and trained as hard as I could and then came back. I think I was around 13 or 14 years old
Yes.
and saw a lot of improvement in my game and understanding how to play and played throughout my whole middle school, high school career. It was the only sport that I played. And from then on, all the way up to, college. Of course, coming out of high school, I just wanted to play, college and play for free and
Yes.
get a
Yeah.
scholarship, help my family, so they wouldn't have to pay for me to go to college. So, I mean, that was the number one goal. And, as things started to progress in college and, being on a great team and having a solid college career, that gave me, the opportunity and just seeing how far I can take it and just wanted to go after the opportunity to see if there was opportunities to go pro. And then that just led to where I am now, just year after year and year, and just, just seeking out the opportunities and always just being grateful for the opportunities, but also taking advantage of the opportunities and then just continue to keep on playing. So, I mean, it's been a blessing and honor just to be able to do what I enjoy doing every single day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great way to introduce yourself. So I just exactly before you went to you basically became pro. So I just have a question. It may be a little complicated, but so when you're in college, right? For
Yeah.
every hooper, basically all everybody, we all want to make it to the league in the beginning. So everybody was trying to go to the NBA. At what point did you? Because NBA is at least in your country, bro. So I can imagine
Yeah.
the dream is so much. I mean, of course, it meant everything for me when I was in Sweden, but in the States, watching games, you can watch the games in the same time zone, all that. It's a different feeling because I know when I've been in the States, at least I got an extra passion for basketball just playing in the States, AAU, and stuff like that. But yeah, so when you're in college, when do you realize, because you play D1, so that's a already top level, and I saw your numbers at least. It looks like you were progressing like a perfect point guard, like coming in for a four-year program. But when did you realize, like, okay, maybe I will start looking a different direction, or maybe I should start thinking about overseas, or not just the league, for example?
Yeah. So, I mean, it progressed. Mainly because, coming in my freshman year of college, I didn't probably, I mean, I played like a few games here and there in the beginning, but
Yeah,
there were guys that were ahead of me. So
yeah,
I sat the bench for like probably the first 14, 15 games of the season. And then, some injuries and different things kind of happened. And, like I said, just the opportunity came up and I was able to take advantage of it. And then from, the last part of freshman year all the way up to my senior year of college, I was starting, the starting point guard for the team.
yeah, exactly.
But it probably wasn't until my senior year where, I was realistic with myself. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm not gonna make the NBA. Um, just based on my numbers, my league
the name maybe.
name, body type, there's a lot of different things that go into
Because you
it.
didn't play, not to cut you off, you didn't play. I saw the school was named. Where is the school located? Buckner Bison.
Yeah, it's in central Pennsylvania. So I mean it's a small mid-major school.
Yeah,
Um, you know, it's known but not really known. It's not a high major school. We played a couple of high major schools to get our name and stuff out there.
yeah,
But it wasn't until I had a conversation with one of my family members, my uncle, he was just like, um, this year, this senior year, you're at a point where all your 3 years that came before you don't even really matter.
yeah,
And you're at a point where, pros and scouts that can help you get there, but you have to also put in, work on your side
of
to,
course.
put yourself in the best
Yeah,
best possible position that possibly can. So I mean that has motivated me more and was like, okay, if I want to make something happen after, college with basketball, then I'm just gonna go all in and see what comes about it. So I think it was probably my senior year where I kind of took it upon myself and try to go after it and just kind of see, what I can do to put myself in the best position to actually think
yes,
about playing overseas. Um, talking to a lot of at Bucknell, there's a lot of guys that went overseas or
yeah,
had uh, a short stint overseas or in the
yeah,
NBA. So I was able to pick the brain to kind of figure out. Also, our some of our assistant coaches also had experience overseas, so that's what really kind of helped, shape my mind and figure out, what does overseas basketball look like for me. And the number one thing one of my coaches I remember telling me was like being a foreigner overseas, it really forces you to ask yourself, do you really love basketball enough? Because it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah, I can
yeah,
imagine.
because it's like, you're not just dealing with basketball, you're dealing with stuff off the court, being
Yeah,
new, you're not going to have all the access as you do in college. So, I also had to keep that in mind. I was like, okay, do I really love it enough to actually make it a career and actually go through the grind that,
yeah,
rookies and sophomores have to go through um, to order to get to that point where you can say that you made it. So that was kind of the turning point in my senior year that really
yeah.
put me in a
Just
mindset to go overseas.
exactly, just exactly going playing overseas for us. Like I'm local, for example, for a local player or something like that. When we receive Americans, it is a little thing now where okay, I mean, you have to prove yourself for the team,
Yeah.
especially if you, in your case, we're talking about the first year, right? Because you don't have any numbers or stats in Europe basketball or FIBA, if you can put it that way. So yeah, so for you, exactly for all you, for most Americans, it is kind of no matter how much you already went through college 4 years, now you are coming to Europe, it's different rules to begin with, and the physicality. I don't think it's that much different from college, but still the rules, shot clock, all that, and of course we can talk about the language and some places they're not even familiar with I don't know African American or black people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a crazy transition. So, so man, you kind of already answered all my questions. Kind of had to, which is I kind of like. So we can get into it. So I saw, I just saw your first stop was second league in Turkey, right? which is tough as a first start. Let's get
Mhm.
that out the way. Really tough league. So how was that experience? Or okay, can you explain when you actually got the call, or how was the feeling that you knew? Okay, I'm going to Turkey, second league, all that. Give us some.
So I'll start by saying that if I knew what I knew now about second division Turkey, I wouldn't have gone because I was not ready to say the least.
Yeah,
Like the
no,
standard that they have for being a foreigner and what they ask you, I didn't understand it at the time. So I
yeah,
mean, when my agent came to me and was like, "Yeah, it's second league Turkey. Um, they want you to, come in, be the guy. It's going to be one in another foreigner." So as we started playing in preseason and stuff, I started to realize, okay, a lot of these teams have veteran Americans
oh
and,
yeah,
they're doing, all of the work. Me and the other American on the team were both rookies at the time. So, I mean, we
okay,
just we just going in, just kind of, the physicality is different, just a little bit different. You're dealing with,
yeah,
guys that played in first division Turkey, which is really,
yeah,
competitive,
really, yeah,
who are a
stuff,
little older, but like are still in
but
the
still,
second division and can still get to it. So I'm asking
yeah,
myself, I'm like, man, I'm faster, I'm quicker than all these guys. Why can I not get through a pick and roll? Why can I not get in the lane or doing
yeah,
this stuff? So I started to realize like, oh, like number one, this overseas is more than just like, skill wise, like it's a lot of mental parts of the game that
yeah,
most people don't really talk about during that time.
facts, yeah, that's
So
true.
if you look at my stats wise, it's like it was decent, but for second division Turkey as a foreigner, it's not good enough at all.
So that's the exactly. So was that that which I saw exactly? Honestly, I feel like all your stats, I can tell that okay, this is a really efficient player. But some players, some places you can go to, they can be like, yeah, we just need you to average. No matter what's going on, we need you to average 20 to 25 points.
Yeah, so that's what I didn't realize at the time.
Yeah,
And if I would have known that back, like that's not really my game. And what I started to, recognize was one, I got, of course I was there to prove myself, but after the third game, they ended up firing me because it was like
yeah,
we lost 3 games in a row. I probably was one of the most, high paid players, and I
yeah,
wasn't at the expectation they was asking me to do. Granted, the team wasn't the best; they finished last, but at the same time,
yeah.
like it
Yeah,
just at
so
the time I didn't realize I was devastated when I got fired because it was the first
yeah,
time somebody's probably telling me like, "Yeah, you're not good enough."
so how was that?
So.
How was that? Let us just stop there. Exactly that those parts. Like how was it? Because you're already kind of being asked for, because from what I can see, if I watch a highlight, yeah, you got a back. I got that part, but it feels like you're a real point guard, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, which is kind of low key getting lost today, which is sad. But I can tell that you're a real point guard. And now you come to an overseas gig where they're like, "Yo, listen, we just came one of the last things. We just need you to be the guy, no matter how." And then so you have to adjust your game so bad and get fired after 3 games because I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes you may need 9 to 10 games when you go to a different stop to actually find your rhythm and timing and confidence and etc. So yeah. So how was it?
I mean, honestly, it was a hit on my confidence. It was a hit on my, mental state. And it was kind of the first time I realized or had to come to a realization. It was like, is this the end of me playing basketball in
Yeah.
general? Like, do I need to go home and start doing my own thing, find a regular job? So, I mean, I had to really, ask those questions. And it wasn't until I talked to another family member or the same family member, and then they were like, being a professional now at this level, you got to realize like you playing against people that are feeding their families. These
Yeah.
Americans or foreigners are not just going out there just to play like a college team. Like, no, it's a business side to it too,
Yeah.
and you got to mentally change your perspective and be like, if you want to make a career or if you want to make a living playing, you got to play like it too. And if they're asking you to put up numbers and different stuff like that, like that requires you to shoot the ball more, be more aggressive. So like I had to, like you said, shift my whole mindset and my whole game. So
Yeah.
after that point, I was devastated, but I was just and I didn't really do anything crazy from like working out. It was just like a change of mindset. Like wherever I go next, I have to be what they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
And this is how I have to play. Because at the end of the day, they don't care how nice you are. They don't care how good of a person. Like I was cool with everybody just trying to be nice and
Yeah.
this and that. But at the end
No
of the day, if they
man.
don't get those results, like if you don't get a win, you don't put up the numbers.
Nobody
You're a
cares.
great person, Steph, and but we're gonna have to look for somebody else. But they were right at the time. It was like I don't think you were ready for it. You weren't. We made the mistake of thinking that a rookie would be ready for this type of situation, but we honestly think you're not at that point yet.
Yeah.
So I understood that, but the only sad part about it is, I was there for 3 months and only got paid once. So I also got to see that
Yeah.
how
Bro.
the business side of
Yeah. Really.
overseas
Yeah.
basketball looks like too, and
Yeah.
how to learn how to protect myself on that side, which is I know a
So
lot of players go through that too.
yeah, so you really got a first experience, if you put it that way. And so that's the thing. You don't get paid in time. You used to, let's say, whatever you got system you had before. You get your money in time, and now you're in a foreign country. Nobody cares. I mean, there is nobody you can talk to in the club. It's gonna be like like because all of them are on the same board. So
Yeah, all them on the cahoots together.
and then exactly already messing with you. We're talking about a rookie. How old were you at the time?
22.
Exactly. You probably thought you were mature back then, but now you're like, damn.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So those parts, like how, because yeah, it is it takes a different person to actually. You have to have it to switch that mindset because now it's already. You were at 3 months. You went through the whole preseason, basically, and yeah, got fired after 3 games. And then I saw, if we could jump, I saw you went to Estonia, right? Or Latvia? Which
Yeah.
one? Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
it was a league at the time that had teams from Estonia and Latvia.
okay, exactly. Yeah, that's what I didn't understand. I was like, yo, okay, so because I know those countries, they can kind of cross over sometimes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Baltic area. And that's a huge, that's a 360 itself going from Turkey to that country. Been there too, so. Yeah, so how was that
Man,
since you coming off the kind of devastating at the time you felt like it was a blessing now, but at the time probably felt
yeah,
like
I mean,
the worst thing ever.
Estonia was, I mean, if you look at, I would just say in that first year, it was, I started off in Turkey, went to Estonia and went to Russia, but I'll get into Russia later. But
Yeah.
in Estonia, after I try to stay in Turkey to try to, stay overseas so teams can, look for me, but I went home for like 10 days. And, within that time, just really just, at first I was disappointed and felt like I was failing, disappointing people. But, my family and stuff, they was like,
Yeah.
we'll support you, whatever you wanted to do. So, I mean, that helped me, you know, pick up myself, pick up my spirits. And 10 days later, my agent came to me with this offer from Estonia. It was like, yeah, like they're looking for another point guard. They ain't gonna really pay you much. It was like 650 euros,
Yeah.
for the month, but I had a buyout option, which, helped me later down the line that year. But I was basically telling him, I was like, I don't know where Estonia is, but I just want to get back out there so I can, prove myself. And going in that situation, it was, I would say, probably at my best basketball, but off the court was probably the worst experience, but that really helped me like probably lock in the most.
Yeah.
Because
You
when I
imagine.
got there, like I didn't have a car.
Uh,
The management was shady. I don't even know if I didn't ever even meet the president of the club. It was a
different
team made up of, yeah, it was a team made up of five Estonians, five Latvians, and five Americans. So it was like split, and the
yeah,
coach was
okay.
Russian.
Yeah.
So
All over the place.
everybody was kind of like split up in terms of like the team was just separated.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
Estonians didn't like the Latvians didn't like the Estonians, and then everybody, of course, didn't like the Americans.
Yeah.
But that really, I mean, in that time, I actually, was able to. I had good Americans on the team. They were able to welcome me. Um, we didn't have much to work with, but to me, honestly, practice was fun. Everybody knew English. The coach knew English. Um, the team was already not good when I got there, so like I didn't have any pressure of having. I just had to, be aggressive and kind of just take my shots. Honestly,
Yeah.
at that point, one of my teammates, he was a trainer back at home, so I worked out with him a lot. Wi-Fi cut off at 10 p.m. every night. We
Oh,
lived in
damn,
a
it's one of those.
yeah, yeah, like we lived in a shared apartment. Had to ask teammates for, rides to get groceries. So it was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how it be. That's how it be.
it was really like I wouldn't say trenches because I know people go through worse, but
Yeah, but it is.
it
It is.
was
I
like
get
it was just
it.
basketball at that point. Like
Yeah,
everybody else was complaining on the team, and I was just like, look, I know what it feels like to be fired, so I'm not
yeah,
complaining about anything. It was
exactly.
like every single game I just went in with the mentality of, you know, go get yours and, just be aggressive and then just not be afraid of the outcome. You already been through the worst that could possibly happen, which is be fired. So
Yeah.
take a chance. And, for me, it luckily worked out for me, which led to me getting bought out by a team in the second division, Russia, and ended up there for the last 2 months of the season.
Okay, so you finished the season in Russia. So, yeah. So how was the? I want that. How did the team do in
Um,
Estonia before we get to Russia? Like, how did y'all feel? Like, were y'all top seed or like middle seed?
nah, we was like borderline. It was one of the teams where it's like they was trying to save from getting, last place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And before I left, we were probably the middle of the pack, and after I left, they ended up in last place, and the club shut down the next year. So I
Damn,
mean,
oh, damn. Yeah, but it be like that over here. That man, they move quick, man. All of a sudden, you can have a club that's I don't know top five for like 5 years straight, and then the next 5 years they're out of the league, man. Like that
yeah.
happens. That it's sad, but that's what it is. Okay, so you finish in Russia. What city? What's in, because I couldn't find the Russia part. I tried to look up everything, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the team in Russia was called Yekaterinburg. So
okay,
it's mostly known for their EuroLeague women's team. They have a competitive EuroLeague women's
okay,
team. It was like Brianna Stewart would sometimes play for that team. When I was there, Brittany Griner was on the team for that city.
okay.
So it's a big city for women's EuroLeague
Woman,
basketball.
okay,
But they had a men's team that was in the second division, Russia.
yeah,
That situation was, I would say, similar situation to Turkey, but um probably more structured, I would say. It was the first time I
yeah,
got to experience it, like what an organization's supposed to look like very professional.
yeah,
Living situation was still the same. It was, the gym was connected to a hotel that the team owned, so I didn't have to
okay,
move much around. It was me and another American on the team, veteran Russian guys who had a lot of experience, but they were, especially with two foreigners, they did a great job, I would think, of, making sure that we were welcome, make sure that, we felt accepted, a part of the team. I made a lot of mistakes. They let me grow there, like just like a lot of mental basketball mistakes, like knowing when to foul, knowing
yeah.
when to, shot clock situations. But throughout all those mistakes, they were able to, pick me up and tell me like it's okay, you're still learning, you're still young. The goal for them was to make playoffs that year. I think we finished like seventh, and we ended up making playoffs. We didn't make it out the first round per se, but the team we end up playing or losing to end up winning the championship. But
Okay,
either
damn.
way,
And
by
it's a
that
good
point,
feeling at least. If you lose to the team that actually win those things, like okay, at
yeah,
least.
yeah. I mean, the goal
Right.
was for them to make the playoffs, help them make the playoffs, made the
Yeah.
playoffs. At that point, I was ready to go home after, this
Two
is
months.
a long first year. This is all within the first year, Turkey, Estonia, or Russia. So that was
Oh,
all in my
oh yeah,
first
bro.
year
Yeah, yeah,
overseas.
there. Hold up, bro. Yeah, exactly. Yo, that's a crazy ass. That's a crazy year for a 22-year-old. You know, people
Yeah,
can act like it's. I mean, you're a professional and you're supposed to handle it and all that, but that's a tough, tough first year.
yeah.
But you stay healthy at least. That's something. I mean, we're looking at all this moving around. Three teams in one season, basically. So is that in within like the, let's say, 9 months from August to, I don't know, July, June? Like that's basically. Or when did you leave Russia?
Left Russia in the end of April, from what I
Okay,
remember.
so he's even shorter. So you were, yeah, you really went through it. So you never even got settled, no matter where you actually went.
Never. I didn't
Yeah.
even get settled until the following year. So I mean,
See,
but
that's
like I said,
yeah.
yeah,
Keep going. So that's the beauty. Let's see, that's the kind of that's the exactly those parts where we I feel like they're words, to be honest. Like, of course, listen, we Americans, like we or USA in general, y'all have NBA. Yeah, we know the megastars and all that. But if you take away this, let's say, this is just for my opinion. Just think about it. Like, if you take away, let's say, the eight, nine first players on every league team, y'all are going through so much more than those players are going through
oh
during
yeah,
your career, your
yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah,
Even basketball wise, y'all probably better at that, but that's another discussion, I guess. But because European basketball, Euro basketball at least, is different, or at least foreign, like FIBA basketball. As you probably realize, going from that 35-second shot clock to, yeah, 20 minutes, obviously a 20-minute half, the game probably was faster. But now it's like in those countries, every possession matters,
yeah,
a whole nother level, if I can put it that way. So at least that's how I look at it from when I watch. I mean, I play here in Norway. Norway is not like Estonia or Russia, but I know that at least although in those countries that are better, it really matters. Like everything matters, like to a whole nother levels. So yeah, so how did you feel after that season, going through all that? How was it feeling?
man, I was grateful, and at the same time, just trying to figure out like how to make sense of all of it.
Yeah,
And to me, it was like I had 3 years of experience all in 1 year. So I mean, I wasn't too mad about it because I learned so much in that first year, and it didn't matter where, at that point I was just kind of ready to just go to another team in a different country where I can just start from the beginning, get a fresh start, and
yeah,
know like what I'm walking into at that point.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, that was just the feeling after the first year, just being able to come home, reset, blessed that I didn't have to go through no crazy injuries, came back home safe, and just grind. And now that I know that what to expect at all different angles, the basketball side, the business side, just being prepared to go into that following year, the next year.
yeah, yeah. Which we can jump into right away. I understand. I can see that season got cut short because
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, because of COVID. So I mean, that
yeah,
second year was I was in Germany. Well, I went to Germany, but
exactly.
even getting to Germany was a not a guaranteed experience, I would say. So I
Yeah,
was still home.
greatly.
So yeah, so I mean, with different countries, you get signed, you start your preseason in what, August?
Yeah, so something like
Beginning
that.
of August,
September.
mid-August, something like that. It got to the end of August and I was still not signed to anywhere. I
Okay.
did the while I was away, while I was back at home, I lived in Washington D.C. area. And, during that time, my agent came to me and said, there's a G League tryout for the Washington Wizards team, their G League team.
Yeah.
If you want to go, they invited you to, come to the tryout. So I did the tryout, had a great tryout. Everything worked out well. Literally the next day after I did the tryout, my agent called me and he was like, "You'll never believe this, but a team in Germany, first division, is looking for a point guard. It's not guaranteed yet. You'll have to do like a month trial. You know how to do like monthly
Yeah.
tryouts for
Yeah. Yeah.
players.
Exactly.
So they brought me in on a tryout, But I was just excited because, I heard great things about Germany, high level basketball.
Yeah,
Um, they said, the structure of organizations, all professional. So I signed, and that next day I was maybe the next week I flew out to Germany on, a
yeah.
month tryout per se. But luckily I came in, the team was already struggling, still trying to figure out their identity, different things like that. But I had a
Perfect
great
for you.
first
That's
month.
perfect for you when the team
Yeah,
is
like
struggling. I mean, fix the
I
whole
didn't really
situation.
have, yeah, I didn't have, I mean, I think within that month we played, what, 4 games. We won 1 game, but it was
Yeah,
against like, it, that one win was right before my contract ended. So that really like,
yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, that game, I guess you could case kind of saved me in a sense. So, I mean,
But
that
yeah, that's
was.
nice. That's nice. But
That was kind of, I guess you could say it all worked out because I ended up, my agent was like, if they call you on this day, that means you're going home. If you're still here after this deadline period, that means you're staying. So
oh,
October 31st came and I didn't hear anything about the club. I have no plane ticket back at home, so that meant I was still on the team.
so okay. So they got an early deadline in that league, in the first league. I don't know how the deadline works in Germany. I'm thinking about the, firing players or signing new players. Because there is a thing, if you pass that deadline, then you know at least, okay, they can't bring anyone in at this point.
Yeah. So I think somebody got injured or like their point guard that they had ended up getting injured. They said injury, but I think that he ended up leaving or
Yeah.
organization coaches didn't like him. But I just know there was an open spot that
Yeah.
they were looking for.
So, and, okay, so this season kind of, I saw that you had, I think you were averaging around 12, yeah, 13 and 5, like real solid point guard numbers for first league, too. Talking about it is one of the best leagues in Europe. So, yeah, and then your season get cut short of COVID. And at this point, you just mentioned you were in 3 countries in like 7 months, and then you're in a tryout with Wizards, and then you get called to Germany. So life is moving so fast at this point. I can imagine that COVID break, low key, kind of was your first time in life where you kind of had to like could breathe for a second, take a little break because of it.
Oh
Right?
yeah, most definitely. Because I mean, even though Germany was cut short, it was probably the first time I had a lot of fun playing
Yeah.
basketball overseas.
Yeah.
In Germany you can have up to like 6 or 7 foreigners, so it was
Yeah.
about
Exactly.
7 or 8 of us, and all of us were still pretty young, between like 22 to 26 year olds
Yeah.
with G League experience and first or second years out of college. So like all of us are still pretty young. So even though we weren't winning games like that, it
Yeah.
was still a lot of fun going to practice, hanging out off the court. So in my eyes, it was kind of like the first time where I got to see, I was like, okay, this is what it looks like to be a professional basketball player. Like I finally got a car, I finally got meals, I finally got my own apartment,
Yeah. You got it
my
back.
own space. Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't getting paid much. It was no more than like 1,200 euros.
No, no, but that's
But
okay. That's what it is.
yeah, so I mean, it was like I was still like, especially after coming off my first year, it was like, okay, I get to experience, an overseas life for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But like you said, when COVID hit, that was the moment where I guess you say everybody got a chance to reset.
Yeah.
Clubs, didn't know what their budget was looking like. Players, weren't getting paid as much as they usually do, but also gave you
Yeah.
time to like, work out, get better, spend time. So I mean, that was the first time I was home for a longer stint of 3 months since before I graduated college.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I
I can
mean,
imagine.
3, 4 years and being able to be home for 5, 6 months was I think for the mental part of it was definitely needed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, I can't even imagine just yeah looking at. I mean, just hearing about it. But that's yeah. So exactly. So it is like of course, it is this thing with basketball. I feel like I mean, listen, playing basketball is kind of underrated overall if you take that as your profession because every
Yeah.
summer you're always waiting for like that call. Like, okay, we got you this job.
Yeah.
And, Yeah, I can go there. Lucky for you, at least it sounds like you chose the right agent, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
It sounds like a great agent. And now COVID stops. Do you even feel because you worked out with Washington Wizards, and I guess that workout or that tryout period actually went well, but you just chose to go a different direction because you got a secured gig, if you can put it that way. But did you still have? You must still be thinking about the league at that time, at least a little bit. Or you,
Honestly, at that point, not really, because I mean, you literally the day after I signed in Germany,
yeah,
the G League team came back and was like, "Hey, you had a great tryout. We want you to come back in for another, workout with, our G League players and all that." But like I
yeah,
said, I was overseas. I did, the NBA workout during pre-draft
yeah, exactly.
and all the politics that kind of go with it. I already knew that my chance of actually making the team was very low, so I might as well go somewhere where it will be guaranteed. You know what I'm
Yeah, of
saying?
course. And Germany top league at the end of the day is a great place to be. So
Yeah, so it was like I would have more chances of having a better career overseas rather than trying to getting bounced around in the NBA, trying to fight for spots and just things that weren't really be in my control. I would have more control being overseas, in my head. Luckily, I was grateful for the opportunity, but you know, now that I had a first year of understanding like how the different leagues and tiers
yeah.
of different things work, it was very hard for me to miss out on Germany. So
And so before we talk about your next stops, now he's gonna be excited because I know one of the players you play with. How like when they talk, you're a point guard, for example. So
yeah,
I'm thinking for a lot of Americans when they come to whichever country they go to, y'all are expected to everybody got to perform, but y'all really gotta carry a team straight off the plane.
yeah.
And so how do you for our simple B fans out there, at least the young hoopers that are listening, so how do you prepare yourself, your body, because you kind of have to perform when you're still jet lagged. So
Yeah, and it's in a sense, I mean,
yeah,
it definitely becomes on it depends on what part of the season you come in on. So if you come in during that preseason time of the year,
there you straight.
then the biggest thing you want to make sure is that you in shape.
Yeah,
Like you don't want to come in there out of shape or being last one in line. So I mean, for me, if I sign early, like this year or previous
yeah,
years where I signed, pretty early in July,
yeah,
then my biggest thing was like, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm in shape and I'm healthy as possible.
yeah,
The basketball stuff, like if you're doing a whole preseason, that's at least 4 or 5 weeks of just straight 2 days for the most part. Like you
yeah,
practicing 2 to 3 times a day,
exactly.
you're gonna get enough basketball in. So I
Yeah,
mean, I just try to, like I said, my big thing is to stay in shape. Now, if you coming in like I did on a tryout, straight off the plane or anything like that, then like yeah, like or like in the middle of the season for placing an injury, your mindset just gotta be, it's a great thing at the same time because one, nobody on the team knows how you play.
yeah,
And if you going into a game in the next 2 or 3 days, they can't really scout you because they don't really know what's your
yeah,
game. So honestly, those are when I have my best games, like 18, 20 points,
yeah.
because like
It's,
nobody knows what you gonna do. The other team doesn't really
exactly.
know. So you got all this freedom. And it's like, well, you brought me in here to score, to lead the team, whatever.
Yeah,
That's what you pretty much you have to do. But I mean, just being young and to different type of situations, always like I said, just being ready for the opportunity. That's probably been my biggest thing. Like you never know when the opportunity is gonna come. You never know when you might get that call to get shipped out.
yeah,
So we just, especially around this time of the year, late, end of July, early August,
yeah.
teams are still trying to put teams together, especially rookies don't really get those early opportunities as much
No,
if you didn't play NBA or summer league or something like that. So I mean, it's just being ready because you never know that next 3 or 4 days you might have to ship out,
yeah.
and get straight to it. 'Cause in their eyes, they're like, you're young, you shouldn't need that much time. Like I'm
Yeah,
almost 30
exactly.
now, so I'm
Yeah,
almost
but
30 now, so I'm in the vet years. They give you a little bit more time, like, oh,
yeah,
you'll start practice maybe in 2 days, get some rest. But back then it was like, okay, tomorrow we got practice, 2 days,
yeah,
be ready. Here's your shoes, your socks, whatever. Go take care of business.
yeah. No, no, no. So, but it's no, but it's tough to see that those players that actually manage to have a longer overseas career, because that's a, to be honest, that's an art itself to actually to survive in those in whatever country you're in, especially
Yeah.
after all these things you just mentioned. And for you, it looks like it just honestly, I can tell you got better and better the older you got. And so how then you jump to after COVID, weird year, and then you get to France. Then I don't know what city is it that team in France.
Yeah, it's called Danone. It's like I would say up north. Yeah, the north side of France. So it was like 3 hour by train down to Paris and from not Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Uh, from Belgium, I remember we were like 2 hours away from like Ostende.
Okay. Okay. So that year it looks like, because yeah, we just talked about your first year. You're basically in three different places in one season, but that was the first year where you actually got to have like a full season, right? And yeah, preseason. I don't know if you had preseason, but at least I saw you play 30 games plus. So yeah, how was that season? How did you do, and how did the team do?
Yeah, so I mean that situation, I first actually started out and I was on another tryout prior to that and with the
Yeah.
London Lions. They were trying to qualify for Champions League, but they had a whole bunch
Okay.
of guys. We lost. And, luckily they let me stay there for at least another week to practice, and then that's where I got the offer to go to France. It was second division France. They told me, it was a very physical league.
Yeah, exactly.
It's better than some countries' first league. So I knew going in, it was going to be similar to every other second league that I went to before. So I
Yeah.
had to be ready. This team was really young French kids. It was a mix of young French kids, foreigners. It was like three or four of us, but I was the only American. Chris was Norwegian, but he had experience in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, exactly.
We had another Croatian kid who was also played college in the States as well. So it was a mix of, young, but also vets at the same time. I guess you could say
Yeah.
I was kind of like they wanted me to come in and be the leader for the team. So it was kind of the first year where I actually got to have that full-on experience. But it was also a weird year in a sense of it was a year after COVID, so teams
Yeah.
didn't really have the budget, so like they could get players for like a pretty, I wouldn't say cheap, but like at a discount
Yeah,
price,
yeah,
I
of
guess you
course,
could
of
say.
course. And players too just wanted something at the time
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, like something solid, but
yeah,
also during that time, leagues didn't really know how COVID was gonna do. So like we'll
exactly.
play, the season would go literally when I got there in like October. We played 3 games and we were off for another 2 months because COVID spiked up. I ended up catching COVID like twice during the year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Shit.
Then we started back up in January. Played 5 games, then took off for another month because COVID spiked up again. And it wasn't until March where there was like, okay, we're not gonna have playoffs, but the top two teams move up to first division.
Okay.
So, and you was playing 2 to 3 games a week. So from March all the way to June 20th, you was
Yeah.
playing 2 to 3 games every single week. It
Oh,
was tough, but exciting at the same time because like you can catch that rhythm going.
yeah.
And luckily, the year before, I think they finished fifth. And, going to this year, I guess you could say we're a surprising team because we didn't really start the greatest. I think we started in like 10th or 7th place when I got there. And then we went on, a winning streak of 6 games, 6 or 7 games, lost
Yeah.
two, then went on another 7 game win streak to end the season. But I think at the end of the season, we finished in fourth place, and
Oof.
we were two
Well,
games behind the number two team. And that was the year that Paris moved up to first
okay.
division.
Yeah.
They put a lot of money in that team.
Yeah, they be
Uh,
moving. They be moving.
yeah. It was like there was no way they wasn't gonna let
Yeah,
them get up
exactly.
there. It was Paris and Fos-sur-Mer. They're back in the second division now, but we were like 2 games behind them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it was the best season that the club has had in terms of record. Stat wise, it was pretty solid, but I played a great, pretty big role with that team, especially
Yeah.
just taking a responsibility of just those tight games and learning how to manage them, taking tough shots. I mean, I hit a couple game winners and then also lost a couple game winners. So it really helped me build my
Yeah,
confidence in the
nice.
sense of like, if I want to be the guy, like you got to take those chances. And
Yeah, of course.
that, my teammates really helped me build that confidence. And I built lifelong relationships. Like Chris is one of the guys that I still keep in contact with to this day. We were next door neighbors. Everything was shut down, so like
Yeah,
every day we would have conversations, watch EuroLeague,
yeah.
um, just trying to keep each other sane during that season because it was a lot going on. But that's what I would say was kind of a turning point in my learning how to be a leader as a foreigner, is what I would say.
Okay, so yeah, that's a great that's a great take right there because exactly because now in the beginning you just came in as a young guard to in those
Yeah,
other gigs, but now all of a sudden you're coming in as a leader and basically exactly some games you have to really take responsibility of I don't know clutch scoring or whatever it will be, which is really to be honest really fascinating when it comes to now we're talking about real point guards because I can tell that you actually have the real point guard brain. But so you got to keep all your teammates happy every single day. So which is another that's challenge itself. At the same time, when y'all need when they need you, you gotta be at your best. Like, how do you manage that part of the game? For me, there's for myself, I played shooting guard or small forward most of my career, right? So
yeah.
I mean, for me, all I wanted is just to have a nice guard. Then I felt like everything was good. So, but how is it from your perspective as a
I
because
mean, as a point guard, as you can say, the type of way that I play, it's like, okay, if I know that you're, a shooter, or, my job is to make everything you do easier.
exactly,
So it's like if you like to shoot, then I'm gonna get in the lane, draw your man. You got to open three, you got to open shot. Um, and just learning like what everybody does, great at, and
yeah,
try to put them in the best situation. And just understanding like, okay, if this dude doesn't touch the ball early in the game, he not gonna be locked in
engaged, yeah,
later in the game. Yeah, he's not. We're gonna lose him during the game. So let me give him the ball. Let me feed my big. If he gets a lob or something, he gonna play hard on
yeah,
defense. So I mean, it's just learning your teammates early on and just understanding that like at certain points of the game, just knowing who needs what to keep them involved, to keep them engaged, and then knowing just when to get to your spots. You know, I like to watch Chris Paul a lot. He's a small guard in the NBA,
yeah.
knows a great job of knowing when to give guys the ball, knowing when to
Yeah,
prime Chris Paul.
he's a
Yeah,
point
so
guard,
he was,
point guard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, just kind of watching him and just seeing the ebb and flow of the games. Early on, kind of get your teammates, and then especially if you start off the game aggressive and you get yourself going, it makes it makes everybody else look good. For me specifically, if I'm aggressive playing basketball, I stop overthinking. But when I start, trying to get guys involved and try to make, everybody happy, it makes, for some reason, it doesn't make everything seem cohesive. It makes the game a lot harder for everybody.
Yeah,
So the way I play is just first just being an aggressive basketball player, whether that means scoring or just drawing defenders, being a pest on defense, bringing energy. I may not be the loudest, but like my spark has always been, how I play, the example that I play throughout the game, and then other guys kind of follow and feed off of that. So I always just try to keep that in mind in my position, and it's helped me a lot in my career of figuring out when I need to score or during those clutch or tight moments of the game is just continue to stay aggressive,
Of course.
not being afraid of those shots. Because I mean, if you make it, then your team trusts you. If you miss, sometimes it's like, okay, you could have done better, but
Yeah.
at least I took the shot. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, like 10 years from now, ain't nobody gonna remember that shot.
Nah, not the
So
miss. You better remember the
yeah,
miss.
not the miss at least. So I
So,
mean, that has kind of been my mindset of how to, create that balance and keep that balance.
and that's a great way to describe it because at the same time, yeah, exactly. With all this, everything you just described, it's like for shooting guards, is some guys, bro. If they don't touch the ball, let's say the next three possessions, they might, get cold or not really have the shot rhythm and all that. So it
Yeah,
is hard to actually manage all those aspects that you have to manage during a game. At the same time, keeping yourself, even if you've been aggressive or whatever, but just shooting yourself, because I can tell you can shoot, right? It is hard too to, if you have a shot in the door in, I don't know, 10 minutes, and now we really need you to hit, I mean, we need a bucket this possession is 70-70, and it's 3 minutes left, and you just, I saw you had that pullback that you like to use a lot.
yeah,
For example, that bad hit the three, so and that probably comes from just working hard outside I mean, when it comes to individual stuff and stuff like that. So now you can tell, man. I can tell you really worked on your. I mean, I can tell you're a hard worker because, yeah, being a point guard in those leagues, bro, it ain't easy, especially when you're American. I mean, some of those leagues, most of the times, they kind of always choose to go with American bigs or I don't know, just
yeah,
import bigs. I mean, it is always easier to bring in a tall guy that nobody can find, like because not many of those on this
yeah.
planet.
I
So
mean, it's it's unfortunate because I would say most big men are not smart at all. Like they
exactly,
sometimes they get the ball, they're not going to pass it. They know
you know,
how to block and get a rebound and put the ball in the basket. That's all. That you try to tell them a play, you be like, "Wow, how did you make it this far?" Because
uh,
you don't know it. You don't know left from right.
I
But
got you.
just like I said, like just for example, like me being around Chris, he's also a shooter, wing,
Yeah,
and just conversation that I will have with him. He's like, sometimes if I don't see the ball or if I miss my first two shots, it's hard for me to trust myself. So I mean, it really gave me an insight of how like players think and understanding like, you know, how they play, and if I see it in the game, then I can tell them like, "Hey, I know you missed your first two, but keep shooting. Like the
yeah,
next one's gonna fall. Keep being aggressive." So I mean, that helped me also come out of my shell to, if I'm not the loudest, but if I know a certain player's like tendencies, then during the game, if I see it, I can call them out on it and get them out of their head. So it's just like little tricks, well, not tricks, but understanding my teammates a little bit more on the personal side that also help me where I don't have to be loud and be directive to
yeah,
somebody and they feel like I'm being rude or calling them out or cocky or something like that. Like, no, like
yeah.
I know you get mad when I yell at you and you play harder, so I'm gonna yell at you.
Exactly, but that's the thing with leading a team and shit, especially point guard. You're like the extension of the coaching, like they say. So man, it's a job, man. It's a like I mean, it's easier for us as shooting guards. Let's put it that way to walk into a game, no matter what. But for you, man, you have to be the. I mean, no matter what's going on, no matter what the scouting report is like, and half of the team never care about the scouting report, even though y'all probably have film sessions and all that.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
to
No,
always, you have to know what's going
I
on.
gotta know. Yeah, like I know. Okay, if a shooter, I know he don't care about the scout. He just know if I got room, I'm gonna shoot it.
Exactly.
And that's
So
your job. Like that's what they brought you to do. If I get
exactly.
five threes off today, I better make three of them.
Yeah, but you have to basically. I mean, when you see a team, yeah, we have to. Today we should play faster if that's the case, or yeah, today yeah maybe we got to slow this game down when you play against this team. Like that's all up to you at the end of the day to actually control. I mean, if you don't control that point of the game, then I mean, y'all may not be that as successful as always. So
Yeah.
yeah, but so it's a tough job. So let me just a question about Chris. How I know he had a successful season, but I didn't watch all the games. I saw some highlights here and there. How was it playing with him? I'm asking that question because as a player, I feel like his playing style is like first of all, he's a super like really professional. The way he plays, a professional player. Like
Yeah.
he don't do stuff like he don't try to go outside his character, if you could put it that way. And he's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
really which is a power itself. So if I ain't gonna lie, if I hit a shot or two, man, I might, try. I hesitate pull next time, or something like that. But he can tell
Yeah.
he always does his job. If
Yeah.
you can put it that way. And how was it to play with a player like that? At least and he always takes this challenge to defend whoever you need him to defend.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean, for me, it made I would say coming in during that time, he was definitely the leader off the court.
yeah,
Just his character, who he was as a person, really cared about the guys. He was, I would say, probably the oldest out of the group during that time, but
okay,
even him as a player, it's really about, it's very much about the team. And what I've always appreciated was he didn't do anything that was, like you said, that was outside of what he already can do.
yeah,
And he did all the dirty work for the team. So if that
yeah,
means that, like, I need to get rebounds, or if I need to, guard the best player, if I need to, if I'm the person that's getting the shots, then like he had a lot of aspects to his game that
yeah,
don't always show up on the stat sheet, which I always did appreciate players and the way that he played in general. Like, and at the same time, he would encourage me during the game. He's like, "Yo, Steph, like, go take over. Like, if you miss, I got your rebound." And
yeah,
plenty of times he held up his end and
yeah,
did the stuff that nobody else wants to do. So I mean, that's what I felt has always helped him progress in his career. Um, and fortunately, he had a great year this year in France First Division.
yeah.
Um, Fortunately, ended up getting injured, different things that happened with that, but overall had a very, I was happy for him to see him being able to do, and we always talked about it, even
Yeah.
in that country. He always says like, I see these guys at higher levels or in EuroLeague and that do the same thing that I do. So I'm just waiting and hopefully that opportunity comes and I'm able to show it. So that's what I said. I was just happy for him to get to that level and actually show it because, you know, he was able to do it. He just needed the opportunity to show it.
Yeah, and you can tell every stops. I mean, like you probably like every stop you go to, like he been successful because that's he's. I mean, I'm not a coach, but if I were a coach, those are exactly the players that you want all your players to be like a guy like
Yeah,
well, the way he plays, that way he approached the game, at
yeah,
least. So no, but it was really shit. Small word. Cool to know that you actually play with him. So that year, well, yeah, exactly. That's the year that you kind of got into a more leader role and all that, and then you went to Germany, back first league. Yeah, exactly. And now you actually finished that season. And so what? How did that season go when it comes to the team wise? Because it looks like you did all right at least. BG
yeah.
got
I mean, yeah. For that team, it was a very ambitious coach, and he wanted to build an ambitious team.
yeah,
Um, he was coaching, I think, Bamberg at the time when I was in Germany my first year. So I mean, going into that year, the ambition of the club, ambition of the team was to build a team that was making playoffs. and we had the right team that could reach and be part of playoffs.
Yeah.
Um, and it was also another year to build upon, that year of being able to take a lot of responsibility. And then in Germany this year, I had even more responsibility
Yeah.
in terms of what the coach needed me to do and the type of players that the offense that surrounded me. So I mean, it was very guard heavy, and the coach understood that. Um, but unfortunately, like, we had some injuries here and there that our best player ended up getting injured, and mix of rosters, different stuff like that. So we ended up finishing ninth in the season. But I mean, overall, we started off strong, but then
Yeah.
hit a few,
Bumps on
blocky
the road.
patches and different, yeah. So that really hurt us in order to make playoffs. And also at that time, that's also when Harold came in. I would say halfway after FIBA break. So he
Okay,
came in
that's the
around
season you played with
February.
Harold, actually. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So he came in the following year, February, late March, and he actually really gave us a good boost to, finish out the season. We were in a close a lot of the games,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's just we just couldn't pull them out most of the time. And it didn't really have to do with anybody's fault. It was just, most of the games we didn't lose more than 6 points. And
Oh,
so it was just, missed
that's
shot
tough.
here, a turnover there. So I mean, like, it
Yeah.
was a lot of tough situations, but I
Yeah.
mean, he definitely helped us to, keep us going. And this is like one of those situations, if we would have had him, earlier on in the year, it could have gave us more time to, gel and play, more cohesive. But, just coming in halfway through the season, really, you just kind of just filling a role
Yeah,
to
exactly.
help the team. But like you see in his career, that following year when he was in Göttingen and had a full year, he did very, very well. So I
Yeah.
mean,
No,
like
yeah,
I said,
I agree.
another yeah. So man, like I said, another great person off the court too. Great player to play with. To guard every day, it was it was a beast every single day to guard each other. So I mean, I would definitely say that was a year that was. You know how they say sometimes practices are harder than the game. That was
Yeah, yeah.
definitely a year. Yeah, it was one of those years was like every day was competitive. We had a competitive group of guys that pushed each other every day in practice, and then when we got out in the games, it was a lot of fun to play, I would say. So it was one of my favorite years by far.
Okay, okay. No, but that's the thing. Sometimes, I mean, listen, we all want team success and all that. I mean, that's the main thing, I guess. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you listen. If you're on a contract, you want to survive your whole season, the full season. You want to have a
Yeah,
great season. You want to, at least have numbers that are representative for you for the, when your agent trying to go out there get a next gig. So that's exactly.
exactly.
So even if y'all got the ninth seed, well, as you just said, y'all it sounds like y'all have fun practice, which is matters a lot. Having fun in practice, and lost a bunch of close games, but you still and you kind of it looks like you kind of got through the whole season too, on on both your legs. Like so, that's that's a successful season at the end of the day. So as a professional athlete, so no, but that's congrats to that. So, so after COVID, it feels like you're basically that's when you find your. I mean, you did your thing in Russia and Estonia, but it felt like looking at your numbers, it looks like after COVID, that's when you kind of your career actually got more. I mean, stable or took off, if you could put it
Oh
that way.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
you have full seasons after that, one after another. No season where you actually play for two teams, so yeah, so you probably did you start feeling that? Did you have that feeling that okay, now I'm really comfortable with the overseas game, and this is me. Like I'm gonna be here, play professional, and you move. It looks like you'll be moving from one great league to another since.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely after COVID, I felt, it was kind of solidified, and I think going back to Germany after being familiar with it, from my second year, it was just like you said, familiarity, and I enjoyed playing in that league. It fitted. my game, and especially playing all these different leagues, it helped me realize that like, okay, certain leagues, work well with how I play, certain teams work well with how I play. And that really showed up the next year when I went to France, first division.
Exactly.
Um,
Which is a
so
really, really good league when we talk about it for
oh
our
my
young
gosh.
listeners. Exactly. That's
Oh
how.
my goodness.
Yeah.
I would say by far in terms of just competition, teams, they if not top two, they're definitely top three for me.
Yeah.
Just by the
In the world, right?
talent.
That's what you're thinking in the
Oh
world.
yeah, in the world, like just the level of talent of not only foreigners but like the French talent that were there, the
Yes.
athleticism. I mean, it's no coincidence that you see a lot of young French guys going to the NBA. Like
Yeah, exactly. You can
they're
tell right now
they're
that wave is coming.
yeah, like their style of play translates very well to the NBA, and it was definitely prevalent when I was there playing. For me personally, that I struggled a lot that year.
Yeah.
I think it was down to a lot of different factors. Um, One, the head coach that I played with in France, second division, became the head coach of the first division, and when you try
Yeah.
to use the same coaching style for second division, it's not always going to work in the first division.
Not all the
Um,
time.
yeah, with the certain type of players that we had, I don't think the chemistry kind of worked well with, our team. We had a lot of great players individually, but when it came to, the structure of how we play together, it didn't always work out well.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I also struggled because, well, one, it was the first time I experienced like a really, I would say, an injury where I had to sit out. So I had to sit out for
Okay.
6 weeks because I tore my hip flexor early on in the
Okay.
season.
Oh, yes. That.
And yeah, and it was like 4 weeks without basketball at all. Like I had to can't do no rehab or anything, just had to let it heal. So that was the first time I actually experienced like an injury. And it took me a while mentally to kind of get back to the type of player that was before.
Yeah.
And I don't think it took me till almost January, February to kind of find myself again. And this happened in October. So I
Oh.
mean, yeah. So I mean, and it was really hard too because it was like every single week you're playing great team after great team after great team, and it's like it was no weeks off, and you only playing one game a week. So I mean, I think it was just that extra pressure on top of that, and
Yeah. Sometimes.
losing. So man, it was mentally my toughest year by far, but competition wise, by far the best that I've been a part of because it was like every
Yeah.
night their point guard was a key player of the team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really
Exactly.
showed me, I was like, okay, if you want to get to this level, this is the type of player that you have to be on every single night. And
But do you feel
that
like it
opened
was
my
a?
eyes. That's this.
Do you feel like it was a little blessing at the same time with that injury when you kind of got a little time to watch, from the side a little bit, seeing all this, exactly all these top guards. Because I can tell you are a fast player, so it's kind of just the mental part that the timing that just got when you get healthy that you probably needed to get going. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it felt like yeah. I mean, you got injured at the right time. I mean, then you come in mid-November somewhere, like everybody's rolling already. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, luckily the other guard that came in for me was
yeah,
a veteran point guard.
yeah,
So I mean, just talking to him a lot and asking him questions of like, okay, you see the type of people I'm working with. How do I, deal with them? This, he was like, you got. He was basically saying like, you got a lot of dumb people on your team. So
yeah,
it's like you really got to tell them like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you is like, putting them in their place basically.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, it was, and then also seeing the other guards, EuroLeague guards, Euro Cup guards that are at better places now. It was cool to, one, see them play and then also play against them. So I mean, and Wimby was in the league during that time. So the French
oh,
league had a lot of eyes on them during that
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. I
So
see.
it was it was an experience in itself and off the court life. We was in the south of France with my wife, so we got to see the
Yeah,
coast of south of France. So off the court life was definitely my favorite. But
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah. I
court,
can imagine. Yeah, South
on the
Africa,
court was probably
toughest.
the league, yeah, the toughest by far.
But at the same time, at the time it's the best league you've been in. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
but okay, a little quick on Wemby. How was it to see him? How old was he? 16, 17 at the time?
No, it was the year before he got drafted.
Oh,
So,
okay. So how was it to see him play?
oh my gosh, it was everything that they was hyping up to be,
Yeah,
everybody kept saying like, no, he's not gonna do, and I was like, trust me, like the stuff
no,
he's doing on us as, and people think like overseas is not as great competition. Was like,
exactly.
no,
It's not
sometimes it's like I'm like it's a lot harder for him to score over here in the NBA. So
exactly.
like him, it was like obviously not everybody's 7 foot, but like
Yeah, but it's tough
he's
in the
working
street.
harder over there. I mean, overseas than he is in the NBA. So I mean, playing against him, the stuff he was doing at his size and age was obviously something that you don't always see or never see. So I mean, it was impressive for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was a fan and believed in the hype for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I can, yeah. Watching it firsthand, I can imagine. Y'all, everybody in France probably already knew that. It's except for the the word that was doubted it, which is kind of crazy when you look at it today. So no, but yeah, but that's cool. So now I saw exactly, and you went to. After that, you had one full season in Poland. How did that go? Because now that's a big shift. I mean, you're kind of going back to low key, which probably reminds you of Estonia, Latvia, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, my mindset going there was I told my agent going out of France that I wanted to. I mean, I know my numbers weren't the greatest coming out of France, so it was gonna
Yeah,
kind of be hard to get back to that level. But I also told my agent, I want to have some experience playing on the international level, so playing FIBA Europe Cup,
yeah, yeah,
Champions League, trying to be on one of those teams. And luckily, this team in Poland was playing, FIBA Europe Cup. Um, so I mean, it was a good opportunity to play on an international stage, and they were
yeah.
on, the top side of the Polish league.
Okay, nice, nice.
So I mean, that was kind of my, mindset going into that team. The coach was German American.
Okay, that's cool.
Um, it was a small city team, but from what they were telling me, I was able to come in and kind of, take the reins and do what I've always done to prior teams. Play, 27, 30 minutes, run the team, whatever. So I mean, for me, even though on paper it was a huge shift, mentally it was definitely the season that I needed coming off
Yeah,
of, France just for my confidence, um, coming off of the injury. In France, going to practice every day was kind of draining. So I mean, going to practice in Poland was, the coach was really laid back, a player's coach. So it was a lot of fun going to practice. Some days we're going to practice like y'all just want to shoot, shoot. Yeah, we'll shoot. Practices was only like an hour 15, really laid back. So I mean, I got to really work on my skills development, personal development, um, and had the experience to play outside of your domestic country, which I
yeah,
always thought was a step up from what I was used to instead of playing one game a week. So
yeah,
it definitely made the season go by faster.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so that was
That's
kind of
nice.
my reasoning and headspace going into that season. Luckily that year it was a competitive league that year, I would say. We finished barely eighth in the playoffs, but I would say what turned that out to be a successful season as we beat the number one seed in the playoffs. And in the club finished fourth. We finished fourth overall in the standings. So for
Okay.
the club itself, it was a successful season. Um, Nobody really expected us to kind of, you know, being down 0-2 in the series and
Yeah,
then coming back and beating the number one team. So I mean, that's what kind of made that season a successful season of what it needed to be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those upsets. Yeah, that. Yeah, exactly. That is crazy how let's say it is in that season, for example, for a club like that, bro, y'all might have a little up and down here and there. Boom. Then the next 2 weeks, y'all come down back from 0-2.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything is the whole story is basically great after that. Nobody cares about
yeah,
everything else that happens.
yeah,
So, no, that's the beauty of the game sometimes, man. But it is a grind. That's the thing. So like you have to go through, yeah, going through it season to season, full season, staying in shape, all that. Like it is. I mean, that's the reward that is to come with it, and for you, when you look at it, it looks like, man, you've been disciplined. I ain't gonna lie. Like you actually played. Yeah, you played in a lot of countries, and looks like you're taking care of your body because it seems like you actually managed to finish every season, even though you have maybe an injury here or there, which is not easy. And because you're probably going home every year, back to the states. Some I know a lot. I know some players that have this habit of, I don't know, take more time off than they need to, and then they kind of get comfortable, and
yeah.
but you're gonna tell in the long run some injuries gonna pop up here and there, right? So, and you, man, you look like you know exactly what you're doing, which is now you gotta give yourself a big tap on the shoulder for that one part. To be honest, man.
No, yeah, I appreciate that. I had to learn that from my older, I would call them my OGs, the
Yeah,
older vets when I was in, France and Germany,
yeah,
having those guys that are in, later 30s and them still
yeah,
being able to perform at that high level. I would ask them all the time, I was like, yo, like, what are you doing? What are you eating? What is your
exactly.
summer routine? Like, what is it that, keeps you ready to come back season after season or make it through a whole season? Because I used to think they used to always tell you like, during the summertime, rest for like a month and do all this stuff.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
over these last 3 years, it was like, okay, granted, I'll take a step back away from basketball for a month, like not think about basketball, maybe not get in the gym and get shots up or work hard intensely, but really just focusing on my body, and figuring out like, okay, if I had some nicks or weaknesses, certain parts here, address those head on, deal with those, and then by the time you go back into playing basketball for the next, 3, 4 weeks before preseason, your body's in, a better shape. It's
Yeah,
stronger, your foundations are stronger. So that advice really helped me a lot to understand the prep work when it comes to priming your body and then also making it through a whole season. And I started to enjoy it to kind of
yeah,
figure out like, okay, like what works, what doesn't work, so I mean, every summer has looked different,
yeah,
talking to different people, dealing with different trainers and just figuring out what was best for my body. So I mean, that's what I'd say has opened up doors to probably what that would kind of look like life after basketball and what
yeah.
I enjoy doing. So I mean, it definitely has helped in a lot of different ways rather than
Yeah.
just, my basketball, performance. So I mean, and prayerfully that all continues going into, years to come.
Yeah, man, that's great. But so, hold on, I never asked you what city you're from in the states. I mean, now you're on vacation, wherever you have. We're not
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say.
so I'm from the state of Virginia, so it's around Washington D.C.
Yeah.
area.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 Yeah, it is a little. I mean, the basketball. I mean, coming out of it, basketball wise, it is tough too, man. Because y'all got hoopers over there, if I'm right.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Like most people usually ask me, was like, were you the number one hooper coming out of your city or coming out of your state in high school? I was like, no, not at all.
Man, I
In
can
my
see why they
area,
asked
it was yeah, it's a lot of guys that have come out of there, and I'm just lucky to be one of the guys that made it, but it's not like I'm not one of the ones would be like, you know, the face of the face of the state or something like that. No, like
Okay, okay. Since you okay, exactly. So who? Okay, can you name for at least a young audience out there that any who's the best player like you actually played with or against? That I don't know. It don't have to be an NBA player, but it can be even if it was high school, AAU, college, whatever.
For me, it was that people would know. When I was in France, obviously play against Wimby.
Yeah.
You had Wimby, you had Mike James.
Oh yeah.
Um, when I was in, I played against Matthias Lesort, who's in Panathinaikos this past year.
Oh okay. Okay.
Played it, played against guard-wise. What was his name?
You ever play TJ Shorts?
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. TJ Shorts is on the list.
Yeah.
I played against him when I was in Germany, but he was on crawl time. So
Okay.
he was still like he had a great year that year, but he got hurt at the end of the year, so he didn't get a chance to finish out the year. But he was definitely on that path for MVP of the season. And came back next year, and then that's when the whole thing with telecom basket started. But yeah, I played
Okay.
against him. I wouldn't even say he gave us, he gave me a good a good 20 just getting to the basket. I was like, I don't understand how we're both the
Yo.
same speed, but he's getting to that left hand
Exactly, because both of y'all fast
somehow.
guards. Exactly. I can imagine that was would be a
He
crazy
just
match.
knows he's great at just getting to his spots and you can't stop it. And he's very efficient at it and
Yeah.
getting to the free throw line. So I mean, there was no surprise. Everybody kept saying he's too short. I was like, if y'all let him, you
They
get
don't
him,
know.
and he's been able to be in the right systems that work for him. So I'll be in the same league. He's going to Panathinaikos. I'll be in Greece next year too. So it'll
Okay,
be
okay.
interesting. It'll be
Yeah, before,
interesting to
listen,
be.
sorry not to cut you off. Before we wrap it up, exactly.
No, go ahead.
So you had, let us just get a little quick, Nürnberg, really successful
Mm,
season. Y'all won the league, right?
yeah.
And so that's probably your first league championship, if I can put it that way.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean the team itself is has been the number one team in the Czech Republic for the last 22, 23 years. They
Okay.
won like 22, 24 out of 25 years in the Czech Republic. It's not obviously the most competitive league, but what I did like about them or that drew me to them was that they have a lot of success in the international play when it comes to Champions League and FIBA Europe Cup.
Okay.
I think the year before I got there, they finished top eight in the FIBA Europe Cup, and that year that I was coming there, they had ambitions to make the Champions League to
Okay.
get back at that level. So that's what kind of drew me to be a part of that team. The new coach there was, putting a great team together, put a great team together.
Yeah.
Luckily, we built a great chemistry. A lot of veteran Czech guys that had Champions League experience that were coming back. And, it was a risk, but because I didn't want to get stuck in the Czech Republic,
Yeah.
but luckily it all worked out, and we
No way.
qualified for Champions League, and beat a lot of great teams, made it out, the 32, made it out 16, made it all the way to the Elite Eight. So I mean, for the club itself, it was a great season, and then personally, I thought it was definitely a great season being able to be on a team that's been on that stage.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean and of course finishing out the season winning the championship too. So first overseas championship, that's a blessing in itself and I don't take that for granted either.
No, 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 that just shows exactly. There's a little compound effect. You just keep working, and now you're like in your, I don't know, ninth or no, probably seventh, eighth pro year.
Yeah.
That's when you get your first chip. So
Yeah.
I think it's something, man. You gotta be proud of yourself over that one. So okay, so which I was basically one of my last questions. So you signed, you already got your new gig.
Yeah.
Congrats to that part, which is nice to have locked in at this this part of the summer.
Yes. Yes, most
So,
definitely.
so where did you sign?
So I'll be going to PAOK in Greece.
Okay, damn. Okay, my bad, my bad. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it because exactly since I started this platform, that's what I actually start focusing more on basically FIBA Europe more than NBA because most of the times I always focus on NBA back in the day, but now I actually focus on so Greek the Greek league and I would try Spain, France for sure, and Germany. Those are the leagues that I would try to follow, and Italy too.
Yeah,
So it's on a lot of leagues to keep up with, but at least I try to keep up with, bro. Yeah, it is to keep up with all the leagues I can keep up with. But I know the Greek league is like one of the top priorities, and I'll probably go there in the season just to watch games. And that, yeah, the atmosphere over there in the game is different.
different. I
So,
saw a few games that they had this year against Chris' team and Harold's team because the
yeah,
team that I'm going to, they were in the finals for the FIBA Europe Cup.
yeah,
And they're known for historic club, great fan base. um Knew a lot of different players that played there, had great experiences off the court. um Big city, be the first time I've ever been in like an actual big city. So I'm excited to get there and be a part of a historic club and great season. It'll be similar situation, going to qualifiers, teams looking to qualify for Champions League.
yeah,
And then the domestic league itself, from what I'm hearing, the Greek league will be one of its best seasons. Like the teams
yeah.
are
They're
having better
loading up.
budgets.
All the teams are
Yeah,
loading up.
like the top, obviously you have the EuroLeague teams and
Yeah.
then you have Euro Cup, and like the top 8 teams in the league are all playing international. So every
Oh,
team, and they're adding two, I think they said 2 or 3 more teams from Mykonos. So I think they'll have 2 teams too. So it's a lot of money getting poured into the teams there. So it'll
yeah,
be very, from what I'm hearing, it'll be very competitive than it was. It used to be very top heavy,
yeah.
but a lot of even
No.
the lower teams are bringing in a lot of guys too. So it'll
Damn, man.
be,
Yeah, you went to that league the right time. The right time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll be great exposure and there's great competition overall. So I'm excited for that.
Okay, man. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. Listen, this has been a great interview. I didn't think it would go this well, man. You've been a great guest, and honestly, I would like to have you again in the probably in the middle of season something, especially when you're playing over there. At least see how the season goes a little bit. If we can find the time, that would be nice because I will cover a lot of Europe basketball stuff, which you will see. So yeah, man, thank you, man. Listen, I really appreciate this time. So I might hit the stop button, but you still be out, man.
Oh no, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Hold up.